A Bay Street veteran says he wasn't surprised that the industry minister, Melanie Joly, did not extract major additional concessions out of Anglo American in its takeover of Teck Resources. We're joined by Thomas Caldwell, chairman and CEO of Caldwell Securities. Tom, great to see you. I haven't talked for ages. Thank you very much.
Good to see you again, Andrew. Hope you have a great Christmas season.
You too. Thanks very much. Now, so you weren't, it looks as though, I mean, Melanie Joly, the minister, talked tough. I guess that's her job. Said she would seek much more from Anglo American. Doesn't look like she got a whole bunch extra out of them, though.
Well, not really. I mean, I look beyond the Anglo American Teck deal to the broader picture of Canadian mining companies. Literally are now run by foreign entities from Argentina to South Africa to Australia. But you know, governments try to, I think I used the quote a neighbor of mine once said, governments are like a giant trying to catch up with a sprinter. The business case is they're going to give governments what they need or what they need for optics to make everybody look happy. And for them to say, oh, well, we got something, I really got a deal and I protected Canada. No, the long and short of it is Canadian companies are all taken over by foreigners. That's a bigger issue. In terms of what you managed to grasp out of this deal, it's like dancing on the head of a pin. Mm-hmm. Oh, they're going to have this people and that person there, and they can't lay off this stuff. Remember, it's like the old days where offices had to be in Montreal versus Toronto, the banks, etc. Well, you know, it looks like a duck, but it's not. The offices, the power is here. Doesn't matter where your legal head office is. So it's really about political optics, period.
I mean, their headquarters is moving to Vancouver, and executives will spend a major amount of time in this country. Does that mean Canada wants something of a victory here?
Well, whatever you can glean out of a deal like this is a win. What really is important, if you have big mining interests in Canada, which indeed they do, then executives are going to spend a little bit more time here. I don't think they're going to really be selling their homes in London or thereabouts and relocating the real decision making. In any corporation, doesn't matter how big it is, 4 or 5 people run the company. So of those 4 or 5 people, you're going to have 1 or 2 of them popping by Vancouver, maybe 1 or 2 living here. But the center of power is still going to be based out of London because their geographical interests are so widespread. And London has not only expertise, but also time advantage in terms of connecting with the rest of the world. So, yeah, everybody's saying they've won a victory here. But in actual fact, it's a major integrated Canadian mining company being taken over by a foreign mining company, just like Inco, Noranda, Falconbridge, all of these, they're all gone. And head offices are very important, but head offices in fact, as opposed to head offices in optics. And as you know, governments work in optics.
Yeah, that's true. And they didn't even move their legal domicile to this country. And that seems to be a sticking point, but Anglo wouldn't give in on it.
I think that would be far too complex to do. So governments, I look at this as the continuation or the end game of a bad situation, the sellout of corporate Canada. So they're trying to put as good a face on it as they can. And Ms. Joly is, you know, she's part of the Trudeau entourage, and she's very well schooled in making things look good. But in actual fact, we are losing control of our head offices. And head offices are, I mean, real head offices are critically important to the development of country.
One commentator telling the Globe and Mail that, well, Canada got legal undertakings from Anglo here so they can launch legal action. But I don't know. I mean, so you sue them and it drags on for years. And is that really going to change Anglo's behavior?
Absolutely not. It's about appearances. The head offices are very. I had a debate with the head of the Rotman School, Roger Martin, years ago about head offices. And he said, well, we got to check I said, if we take an airplane and fly around New York, you'll see a major concentration of head offices, major charities, major universities, major giving, tremendous wealth. And we'll fly around Sudbury and see some head frames. What's more important? The head offices, are they important? Indeed they are. But head offices in substance. But I still think you have a lot of Canadian companies that have their theoretical head offices still in Montreal. Now, Air Canada and CN, of course, they're pretty well stuck there. But the rest of them, in fact, it's Toronto. And that'll be, in fact, Anglo-American will still be in London. They will have interest in Vancouver. Don't get me wrong. They will have interest because they have mining properties there. But of those 4 or 5 people that run every major corporation, you're not going to see 4 or 5 people moving to Vancouver. Those 4 or 5 people.
It's interesting you mentioned Sudbury. I mean, people love living there, but when you consider the billions of dollars of mineral wealth that, extracted over the decades, I don't see big, magnificent skyscrapers in Sudbury.
Well, it's a production town, and Sudbury. People in northern Canada, northern Ontario, they love it. They love it. The quality of life and the people and the culture. I think it's got to beat Toronto, doesn't it, Andrew? but it is a little bit of a harsh world, and theoretically, managers want to stay where banking, accounting, legal advice is concentrated. And to date, that's been Toronto. Well, that is diffusing somewhat, but you still have to be where you can get that corporate type of input. So it's a production town, and it's come along really well. When I used to cover accounts up in Sudbury, it was like the face of the moon. So it has improved, but it's still a production town.
They did clean up the air. That's right. Thomas, leave us with a final thought, though. Should we in Canada be much more aggressive about just hanging on to our companies and simply saying no to these foreign takeovers?
Andrew, I take it one step further. We got to think and dream bigger. And I'm not just blaming governments and regulation and constraints and indigenous rights and all this stuff. It's also managements. Why aren't we the takeoverers versus the takeoverees when it comes to resources? We are a mining giant as a country. Why aren't we using this to expand around the world and take that expertise around the world?
What is it a timidity, a laziness in Canadian business culture, Thomas?
I don't know that there's a word. It can be timidity, it can be laziness, it can be incompetence, it can be a whole bunch of things. Your head offices tend to gravitate where your capital markets are, and our capital markets, of course, have been dissipated in Canada massively. So you're not funding new companies having head offices here. There's a whole bunch of reasons for it. But I would challenge managements to think beyond being branch plant managers as opposed to being aggressive mining titans, if you will.
Tom, thank you very much indeed. Really appreciate it, and have a great holiday.
All the best to you, Andrew. Good seeing you again.
Tom Caldwell, Chairman and CEO at Caldwell Securities.